Dated dog. Back into it, Cooperville Live on I believe it's Wednesday. Still having a struggle keeping the actual factual day of the week that it is. I'm pretty sure today's Wednesday. About 78%. And I'm not a numbers guy, but the numbers, they don't lie. You, me, and 3. Glad you are here. Cooperville Live is, I guess, now officially starting to. We got the whole visual thing going down. What's up, Joe? Throwing up them devil horns. Something like that. Hope you had a great day today. Happy middle of the week. Heading towards Labor Day weekend. Which for a guy who's been traveling for 16 or some odd days, I'm not sure if there's much competition. Joe's ready for the weekend. Does this give you a 4-day weekend then, Joe? Or just the 3? Do you have to work an extra day so you get the extra day off? Like, do you get... You know what I mean? Because usually you're done on Thursday, but do you have to work Friday so you can have Monday off? Should just be an extra day. Got Monday off. Okay. That's it. Let's take it. Let's hit up those peeps that do the peep things. Taking Friday off again. There you go. A little 4-dayer in there. I like it. I like it a lot. It's Cooperville Clothing. New drop coming up on Friday. You're going to like it. You're going to love it. You're going to want some more of it. Everything is a song. Everything is coagulating into song lyrics in my life. That's because of at Mr. Max Built and Amos. Check out all our dope stuff at CoopervilleClothing.com. Ton of things for the ladies, ton of things for the dudes, ton of things for everybody. We're thinking about putting together some kids stuff. You know, like kids t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff. Getting into hoodie season. Which, dudes, that means it's hoodie theft season. I used to have some really cool hoodies. And magically, over the course of 41 years, most of them have disappeared. But I still have a fairly decent collection. Check out Cooperville Clothing. Make sure you tune in for that new drop coming up on Friday morning at 8 a.m. Also, if you go to the site, make sure you sign up for our text message list. We drop info before anybody else if you're a part of that at CoopervilleClothing.com. The pop-up will come up and just drop your number in there and you'll be good to go. Captain Coop's Beard Company. Get yourself the beard goodness for those of you who maybe, trim her down or shave it off during the summer months because it's so hot. Which actually, according to science, it's not, because the beard actually blocks the sun from the skin, therefore making it cooler. But that's neither here nor there. But if you are somebody, or you know somebody who does the summer shave and then regrows the man beard during the fall and winter months, good time to get them set up with Captain Coops. We got some really cool stuff on the horizon with Captain Coops. Had a great meeting yesterday with some of our partners, and we have a whole bunch of cool things, including some things for the ladies coming up over the next couple of months. So make sure you dial in at CaptainCoops.com and get your orders in. And, of course, MidwestMeals.com for those healthy, ready-to-go, on-the-fly meals, 16 signature meals. You can build your own stuff. You can also get protein and veggies and carbs by the pound. Thank you to Jess. I love Jess. Jess is my faves. Jess is a fantastic artist. Follow her on all of the socials. Shameless plug. MidwestMeals.com. Make sure you use the promo code Cooper at checkout. So what you do is you go in and you order your meals for the week. And however you want to design that, if you want it to be your breakfast for the week, or your lunches, or your dinners, or a combination of all the things, get your order in by Friday. They ship out nationwide on Monday, and then you got your meal set for the week. And no dishes. Nobody likes to do a dishes. And this takes care of that problem. Again, promo code Cooper at checkout, and you get 10% off your order at MidwestMeals.com. And yes, again, they do ship nationwide. It is good to get all that out of the way. Good stuff for a Wednesday. So for those of you who are following along, of course, we've been talking about Epic Willie's Adventure. Today, or late last night, I shouldn't say today, yesterday, all of the rigs arrived back via truck transport from Portland, which was pretty exciting. there's always a big question mark. You go on this epic journey, 16 days on the road, Independence, Missouri to Oregon City, Oregon, back roads, byways, dirt trails, up mountains, down mountains. We forged a river, all the things. Again, I talked about the length of time that is to actually not be home doing the things that you do, doing the voodoo things you do so well. So we truck the rigs back from the ending point. So we loaded them on a truck last Saturday, and we flew Portland International to MSP to get personally back with half of our stuff. Because when you're loading up, you just bring all your things, all my camping gear, all my electronics for the recordings, and all the things. That stuff does not fit back in appropriately to get back on an airplane to fly back. So you load some of your stuff on there in the trucks in the trailer left on Saturday, and arrived late last night. So I was over at Maxville today. I was getting oil changed on my Jeep and grabbing my stuff. My stuff consisted of my 3 camping things, my mat, and my tent, and the sleeping bag. Now, imagine the sleeping bag after dude sleeping in it for 16 nights in a row. Several of those days were at 110 during the day. There's not a lot of opportunity for showers. There's some, can we say whore bath? There's some whore baths that went on, a little baby wipe action, you know. So the sleeping bag was ripe. And it rolled back in a watertight bag to get back here. The other bag was also a watertight bag that was filled with dirty clothes from the road. Also, effervescent. They were effervescent before, and then you packed them into a sealed tight bag, and it drove across the country. So I picked that stuff up today. And locked the laundry room door. Like some things didn't move. Like this shirt. This shirt does not move anymore. Got all the laundry. Yeah, pits and peck. That's pretty much what it was. There. But so I finally got all my clothes back, and everything is washed up and cleaned up tight, and kind of put a wraps on, not wraps on Epic, because Epic is, like I said, it lives on. It exists beyond just the trip. I keep following Epic on social media, and myself, obviously, I'll be posting things too. You'll see some of the pictures that we didn't get a chance to upload and post during our 16-day trip. But it was nice to have the stuff back. Namely, because one of the things that I didn't manage to return was any of my underwear. So you do what you got to do. Do what you got to do the last couple of days. But feeling fresh and so clean as we get ready for the big weekend, big holiday weekend. Joe, you got big plans? Anything on the calendar for the extra day off? I get to go and pick up my son on Friday up in the UP, and then driving back down for the weekend, which will be super rad. Hopefully get out on the water, a little bonfire action, grill outs. You know, the super duper stereotypical Labor Day festivities are planned. Today was his first day of 6th grade. Which is nowadays middle school. I'm fairly certain that when I was in 6th grade, that guy was still in elementary school. We still had cubbies and shit. But no, nowadays it's lockers and changing classrooms, all the things, all the middle school stuff. So today was his first day. And the first time that I wasn't there for his first day of school. So I had went running this morning, and then got some pictures of his first day, and I was just like, man, Had like two emotional moments. Like one, like super duper proud of him. It's been a roller coaster of the last 2 years, not just with COVID, but with everything else and his move up north. And, so you kind of go, oh, so proud. And you're like, oh, I want to be there so I can, protect him. Like that. You got to let him off the chain. You got to let him be free. But a great first day at school, so that's good. I know a lot of people. Today is like the typical social media day of everybody posting their kids going back to school, which is super cool to see. Going to Godson's football game tomorrow night in Siren. Yeah, football has been. Was it a couple weeks now? 2 weeks or a week? High school football has been back. Friday Night Lights, baby, takes me back to my high school days. Oh yeah. Played cornerback and running back in high school. Takes me back. And you know what's weird? To tie this all into a nice bow is the fact that the bag of dirty clothes that came back really smelled like the locker room. Like the football locker room with all the pads, like especially like practice stuff, because all the game stuff usually got washed. But the practice stuff like went weeks without being washed. That's what it smelled like. I'm like, oh, it's gross, but it takes me back to a special time and place in my life when I was playing football in high school a couple of decades ago. Very similar smells. Played nose tackle. Yeah, never watched the practice stuff. I think when it started to stand on its own, like I'd said, that shirt that I pulled out, and it was kind of like, oh, I can just set this right here. That's when the coaches were like, makes them easier to put on, right, Joe? If they can stand on their own, is popping up, thigh pads already in, man. Good to go. Thigh and hip pads already good to go. The smell was unique. Yeah, I have that a lot of those experiences. Like you get those smells in the air, and you're like, this takes me to this place. Like the smell of like diesel exhaust in the morning always takes me to like music festivals, because I always for 15 years doing music festivals, and before that being at music festivals, like the smell of the morning in the middle of summer, and then like the waft of diesel. I'm like, this takes me back to music festivals, which is pretty rad. Shameless plug. Shameless. Tied in nicely. What else is going on in the world? No guests on the show today. Kind of with being gone for as long as we were. Maybe we'll have somebody on tomorrow. Friday there will be no show, as I'll be making the travels up to the UP to pick up Junior, and then Labor Day weekend, obviously. But we'll be back on Tuesday, locked and loaded with guests. But we kind of took a little hiatus from focus on the show and getting people on. We actually had Matt. We had Matt Jordan, who was on last night, actually booked like in the end of July. We had to postpone it, and we were like, he's like, what about these dates in August? I'm like, August pretty much screwed, dude. I'm gone. So, Jonathan Wickman. Yeah, definitely reach out to Jonathan. He is a gubernatorial candidate from the great state of Wisconsin. We had him on a couple months back. It's a good call, Joe. We'll get Jonathan Wickman back on. He's been active. I've been seeing him doing a lot of stuff on the socials, and has a lot of good things to say. So we'll get him back on. I know things are starting to ramp up, because we got a 2022 election. Am I right with that? 2022 is the gubernatorial, and then we'll have a 2024 presidential. I think that's midterms. That's what midterm election. So we're narrowing it down for the candidate. That's also been the great thing about being gone for so long, is like kind of been out of the whole arena, but then flooded with it as over the course of the last 3 days. Just like, whoa, man. As if shit wasn't awry before mid-August, we have taken a turn, and 9 for the better. Venom. Derek Van Orden, absolutely. Get that man back on, too. I bet he's got some things to say. He has things to say in general, but I'm sure given the current state of things, he's got a couple more things he'd like to add on to the agenda. Oh yeah, good call, Joe. You're racking my brain because I'm still kind of half moron for being gone for so long. So there's that. I did pull up a couple of stories. I figure we'll touch on those. Again, my son took my fancy little iPad holder. It's gone now, which makes me kind of sad. But we had some things that I just highlighted in the last few minutes that I thought we'd bring up. This is interesting. And perhaps you've heard this story before, or heard it already, but it did just come out today. John Smoltz and Al Leiter reportedly leaving the MLB Network studios after COVID-19 vaccine refusal. So MLB Network began to implement a vaccine mandate for all employees on Tuesday. Smoltz and Leiter continue to work for MLB Network through the 2021 postseason, but will work remotely. Smoltz is reportedly slated to call a division series game for MLB Network on site in October. Leiter currently works as an advisor for the Mets. In addition to his role with MLB Network, he won a World Series and tallied 2 All-Star appearances from 87 to 2005. So basically, MLB Network comes down and says, if you work here, you have to have the vaccine. And these two fellers say, no. And it doesn't really say. Pitchers John Smoltz and Al Leiter will end their in-studio work with MLB Network after refusing to receive the vaccine. So it doesn't say like if they were like, no, we're out, or if it was like, no, well then you're out. You know what I mean? Like if they made it of their own volition, or if it was like, well, if you don't get it, then you're out. You know, you have to you are no longer of service to us here, which is pretty wild. Like, when you think about that in the grandiose scheme of things, if you don't do this, you're out. The kid had a great day today. It's good to know. But that's, starting to hear that, see that a lot, not just on a scale of major league or professional sports, because I was reading something about in Jacksonville. They took into account a player's refusal and or willingness to get the COVID-19 vaccine into if the player got cut or not. Now, obviously, there's a lot of criteria that go into a player getting cut. There's performance, which I'm guessing if like they were like high level, like Cole Beasley, like high level shit, like they're like, well, that's fine. But if you're like at the bottom of the list, you're like the 7th wide receiver, they're like, he was good and did these things, but so they use that as a criteria for final roster cuts. Which was interesting. But there's employers, especially when you talk about the healthcare field. We passed several on our trip out, especially when we got closer to civilization, if you will, in Oregon. Several protests outside of healthcare facilities, which I'm assuming were healthcare workers, because they were like, their posts or their signs were like, no mandated vaccines for healthcare workers. We saw a lot of that. Like I said, not much in Wyoming. More so when we got out into Oregon. And not in Oregon, when I talk about Oregon, like when you cross over Idaho into Oregon, even you swing up through Washington like we did to avoid driving on the interstate, like Oregon is still pretty. A lot of topography, smaller towns. There was a lot of these, Oregon Strong things. And we had talked about those counties in Oregon that wanted to secede from the state and join Idaho. I didn't really follow up on that story much to see if that actually, they tried to put it on the ballot to see if they could move it forward. I'm guessing those were the counties, because it certainly felt like it. But beautiful hills and mountains and these trees. It was just a beautiful sight. And then you kind of got, even in Oregon City was beautiful. Portland, question mark. But we had fun in Portland too, so I shouldn't bash it too much. It was just the vibe was a little bit different, if you know what I'm saying. But a lot of protests we saw on the way out, or a handful. It's a scary ass position to be in, you know. Especially when you come off of what a lot of people who got furloughed over the last, 20 months or so. People that lost their jobs, people went out of business, all those things that people went through. Roller coaster of finances and bullshit. And you come back and you're like ready to go, and your employer's like, yeah, but I'm super thankful to be, of basic self-employ. Even the non-self-employed stuff I do is mostly from home. It's the luxury of having all of these computers and screens and, the gamma rays coming into my eyeballs all the time. But I'll tell you what, had it been back in the old radio days before I became a washed-up DJ, I'd have been like, I don't think so. I'm out. Lawsuit. I'm with you on that one, Joe. I feel like there's going to be something, maybe not in the foreseeable, but a little bit beyond that, when you're going to start to have these groups come together. As more companies start to mandate this stuff, people are just going to start coming together, and they're going to form these big groups. And one very intelligent attorney is going to be like, I think I got something here. But, and good for John Smoltz and Al Leiter for, sticking to their guns on things. I know there's some NFL players that have been doing the same thing. So, pretty wild stuff. But enough about COVID. Let's talk about other crazy shit going on in the world, shall we? Let's. You hear about this in San Francisco? Oh, prepare to have your mind blown. Story comes from Fox News. San Francisco will pay people not to shoot other people. Let me repeat that. San Francisco will pay people not to shoot other people. Hang on. I don't make this stuff up. It's right there. San Francisco is rolling out a pilot program that will pay high-risk individuals not to shoot anyone as gun crimes tick up in the city. These small investments can transform the lives of individuals, but they can also transform communities. Cheryl Davis, executive director of the Human Rights Commission, told Newsweek. The Dreamkeeper Fellowship will pay 10 individuals who are high risk of being either on either end of shooting $300 each per month not to be involved in such crimes. $300 a month for these individuals not to shoot other people. California, by the way, is also looking into paying drug addicts to stay sober. Like, I have so many questions. Like, when these groups get together, a little round table, probably virtual, because, no matter what Tupac said, or what Tupac said was right then, maybe not so much now, the West Coast is no longer the best coast. So we're like, hey, like, we got to do something about all the shootings, man. We got to do something. What should we do? More police? No, we defunded those people. Okay. Community outreach programs. They're not big fans of other people coming into their neighborhoods and being like, hey, does anybody know the lyrics to Kumbaya? Not fans. So somebody at that round table or on that virtual conference said, how about we pay people not to shoot people? And everybody looked around and was like, why have we not thought of this before? Pay people not to shoot other people. Then you got the drugs one. Man, we got a real drug problem out here in California. What do you think we should do about it? More programs? I don't know. We got a lot of programs, man. You know, more police. Oh, we defunded those people. Man. What if we paid the drug addicts not to do drugs? Oh, man. This program is going to work for the guns and the drugs. Take the rest of the day off. Go to the beach. You think I make this stuff up. I don't make this stuff up. People sat around. Probably fairly intelligent people. Probably educated folks. Probably people who started off and really wanted to do good in their community, in their area, in their state. And they all sat around and watched things just go to shit. And they're like, how can we fix this, man? What do we got to do? We pay people not to shoot other people. I like it. And we paid the drug addicts not to do drugs. Time out. Drug addiction is a real thing. If you give that person money, they're going to go buy more drugs. Simple. We were told in Portland by the hotel we were staying at. We called them. We're like, hey, is it like cool? And this was in a fairly decent part of Portland. It's by the mall. It's by Dave and Buster's. Really nice restaurant called En Fuego. That was delicious. And a little barbecue joint right next to it, all outdoors. It was great. We're in Oregon City, and we call them. We're like, hey, is it like cool if we park our rigs there? Like, well, what do you got? Are you guys the Jeep guys? They knew we were coming. Even the bar manager. We get to the bar at the hotel. I know I totally sidetracked there. We get to the bar at the hotel, and the bar manager comes up, and she's like, you guys look like the Jeep guys. And we're like, that's profiling, and I don't appreciate it. No, I'm kidding. We didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. And she pulls out like a pamphlet. It didn't say this, but it was like, you guys are like the guys with the Jeeps, with the thing. We're like, yeah. It's like, we heard you were coming. Welcome. So they knew we were coming. Oh, you guys are the Jeep guys. We're making this phone call from Oregon City. Beautiful Oregon City. Is it cool if we park our 40s and 50s old-ass Jeeps in your parking lot? Everything going to be cool. They're like, okay, so these, they don't really lock. A lot of them are open, like open-air, flat-fender Jeeps, so there's no roof on them. Like, she's like, well, they're probably going to come late at night. The tweakers will come late. She called them tweakers. The tweakers will probably come late at night, and they'll probably steal what they can. our rigs didn't come with those fancy alarm systems that some of your newer vehicles come with, or the beep beeps, or the deet deets, or the automatic starts. Nothing. But I want to park them somewhere else. Thankfully, Benchmade Knives, our friends at Benchmade Knives were just fantastic. Nellie Parker and the entire crew. Like, yeah, park them here at Oregon City, behind one of our buildings. We got security cameras. We're all good. Cool. So to get to the point, you have people that are willing to steal things off of vehicles, like old vehicles. Like, oh, this is probably worth like something. Because in Portland, you can have everything. You can do all the drugs. If you just give them money, they're like, I'm going to go buy drugs because I'm addicted to drugs. California's like, well, if we just give them some money, they'll not do drugs. If we just give the killers money, they won't shoot other people. These are people kind of in charge of shit. It's a great quote. It's not necessarily as cut and dry as folks may think. It's not a transaction like, here's a few dollars, you don't do something bad. It's really about trying to improve public safety. I am interested to see how that works. Like, I just wanted to kind of sit back and watch. How's that working out over there, Callie? California love. Come on now. Come on now. Anyway, I'll end on this story because it's kind of funny. Not that wasn't hilarious, but this is kind of funny. From the New York Post, the Russian ice hockey club AK Bears is facing backlash after relieving its cheerleaders, the Bar's Angels, to focus more on a family-friendly atmosphere at games. Okay. Former Bar's Angels leader Regina Bariva, who departed before the club relieved its cheerleaders, claimed team officials were concerned about players' wives being jealous and upset over the Bar Angels' presence at games. The arguments were supposedly that other people's wives don't react very well to beautiful girls. Therefore, the club decided to abandon the service of the support group altogether. I do love the fact that she called it a support group. Kudos, my lady. Kudos to you. We're a support group. Concur. So you have a hockey club that has cheerleaders. A hockey club in Russia with the cheerleading squad and decides we want to be more family friendly. Actually, what we mean is the players' wives are like, get them bitches out of here today. If you're going to be more family friendly, you see, we want to prevent less violence. Eh? No more Dante support group. No more. Well, I feel bad for these ladies, and I have a feeling they will find solace with another program, another support program. That's the world in a nutshell right there. COVID vaccines, money for not shooting people and not doing drugs, and jealous wives. And family-friendly hockey. I believe it was the great Phil Collins that said, "This is the world we live in, and these are the hands we're given." I'm going to end on that. Y'all have yourselves a fantastic Wednesday night. Enjoy if you got kids back in school. Hopefully they had a great day. I'm going to go check in with mine, make sure that he did. Apparently he's off running amok with the neighborhood children that he made friends with today. So it's pretty rad. Have yourselves a great night. Hit the links. We out of here. Peace. And the world will be a better place for you and for me. All right, y'all. It's a goodbye.